Hi guys, Lemmy here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a art supply review. We're going to be looking at the Ohuhu 120 colors dual tips marker pens set. Now, I probably said the name of that company incorrectly, and my apologies. I don't really know how to say it, so I probably butchered it. Full disclosure, I did receive these markers for free in exchange for a review, so thank you for providing me with today's item, Ohuhu. At this time, they do not have a price for the markers, but judging by looking at their website, I'm estimating that this set will probably cost $60 because the 40 count set is like $21, $22. The 60 count set is $31, $32. The 80 count set is $40. The 100 count set's $50. So I'm just cutting that in half and estimating this will be around $60 USD. Obviously, don't quote me on that. You'll have to go to the website and actually look at it. But for that many markers, that's a really good price to have just this selection of colors. I think this is really good for beginners. This isn't going to be your end-all set for every color you ever need ever, but I think this is a really, really good start, like a foundation for starting with markers. These markers come in a nice fabric sort of pencil case sort of deal. It zippers on top, has a little handle. Really nice to just kind of haul your markers around if you want to take them on the go. It comes with a little, I guess, sheet of plastic paper so that in case it bleeds through, you can protect your sketchbook on the other side from bleeding onto another picture, which was really thoughtful of them. It comes with a swatch, which doesn't have accurate colors. As a warning, I swatched all the colors out myself. It's not accurate, and usually with marker tops or swatches that they provide, they're not accurate to the colors, so this is kind of normal. You definitely want to swatch them out on your own because some of the colors are vastly different than what they're portraying on that swatch that they give you. Also included is a 10% off everything coupon. I thought that was really nice that they included that. Even more important than the coupon itself is what is on the back of that coupon. And this is what I really appreciate. So you'll hear me in all my reviews talk about customer support if it pertains to the item, or if the company gave me a hard time about something, or they were really gracious and awesome about something. And this is, I think, something where this company shines, is on the back of that coupon, they have frequently asked questions. So if you get a pen or a marker or whatever, and it arrives dried out, they'll replace it. If it dries out really quickly after you used it only a few times, they'll replace it for you. If it's bleeding, like everywhere, ink is everywhere, when you open it, they'll replace it for you. Or if you get duplicates of colors and you're missing a color, they'll replace it for you. Another thing I think is cool is at the very bottom it says, the ink bleeds through paper. And they talk about how this is a common problem, so they included that plastic sheet I mentioned earlier. And they said if this is unacceptable, a full refund will be on its way. So this company really cares about customer service, and I like to support companies who care about the people they're selling to. Getting 120 colors for around $60 is really, really good, especially starting if you don't know if you like it or not. And markers, alcohol-based markers especially, it's a really large investment to get started because you want to have a bunch of different colors that you can blend together and create different pictures with, but you might not initially want to spend that money unless you know that it's something that you like. So this is really good to get started. Would I recommend this to people who already have the fancy markers? I mean, if someone was giving it to you for free, sure, like extra colors, cool. But I wouldn't go out of my way to get them if you already have markers, you know what I'm saying? But if you want additional colors, sure, they're really affordable, cheap, and they're nice markers for the price. They come in a plastic barrel, which isn't exactly a circle, it's more like an oval, so it won't roll off your desk, and they have numbers on the ends so you know which color is what number, and if you store them horizontally, you can see that, and it's like easier to get your color. I like the barrel. The nibs are nice. They have a bullet tip and a chisel nib. I like them, they're good, but they do have some issues, which I'm going to get into. None of these issues are crazy big, but they do exist. So the first thing is my markers are insanely juicy, and there are points where I'll see the ink pooling on top of the paper because there's just so much ink. And I use Express-It blending card, which is a more expensive paper, but if you were to use a cheaper paper, these would feather and bleed everywhere. So if you're going to use these, you're going to have to invest in nicer paper. That's just the way it is. Or else it's going to be a bleeding mess everywhere. And I know that I went outside of the lines in this picture, but I did that on purpose because I wanted it to have like a textured and messy look to the picture. But I'm sure I could have stayed in the lines if I wanted to, but it was one of those things where if I didn't have the nice paper, it would have looked like a total disaster. But I appreciate that they're juicy because they're trying to give you more ink as opposed to less ink so that they'll last longer. I think it's good, but it's also bad. You have to, while the markers are cheaper, you have to invest more money in paper. Another thing, now this is just me personally, I prefer brush tip markers, and I told the company this because they asked me what I thought, and everything I'm telling you is what I already told the company. And I said that, you know, there's some people who like bullet tip and chisel nib, but there's far more people who like brush tip markers. And they said that they are making new markers in the future, or they plan to, where they will have brush tips. So that's really cool, but this set doesn't include that. And then there are two other things that actually kind of bother me about the markers. The other things, like, they're all kind of like subjective-ish, you know, like, oh, it's like kind of really juicy, so I need paper, or better paper, and it's not really that big of a deal. Or like, I prefer brush tip. But there's actually two problems that I have with this marker set. The first being the labeling. I love that they put the numbers on the sides of the markers, but if you look at the swatch at the very beginning where I swatched it out on my own, there are certain points where the markers will break out of numerical order, and there will just be a gap where numbers are missing, which I thought was weird. But worse than that is that certain numbers, when you turn them upside down, are different numbers. For example, 6 and 9, you can turn them over and they're interchangeable, but they're also both a pink. So unless you're really paying attention to which color you're grabbing, which I don't necessarily always do, the 6 and the 9 are like interchangeable, or something like 18 and 81, or 19 and 61, or 68 and 89. Like, these are all things you can just turn them upside down and they're a totally different number or color. And I just think that adds to the confusion of it all. It's just a little thing that's inconvenient, and I think it's an unnecessary inconvenience. The other thing I had a major problem with is that most of the colors are extremely deep. They're very dark. And while this is good if you want deep, dark colors, if you're trying to transition your dark color into a lighter color and have a successful blend, you need to have different colors to transition to. And I explain this by saying, okay, if I wanted to blend out an orange, let's just say orange, like it's a medium tone orange. From there, I can have 3 darker oranges to pick from. But to go lighter, I have 1 orange I can pick from. And from that lighter version of orange, which is still pretty medium toned, there's absolutely no color choice to get to a lighter color from there. I went through and I listed the lighter colors for them. And that's 8 colors out of 120. So they really need to work on adding lighter colors to transition from. And I know that they said they wanted to incorporate a lot of like earthy tones for like skin colors and stuff like that, but you still need to be able to transition to a lighter color to show a highlight or something like that. And it's not just, they have lighter colors, but they're kind of grayed. If you want like a really light sky blue color, there just isn't one. If you use one of the lighter grayed blues, it looks like you have a kind of like a sad colored sky, like it's gonna rain or something. So they need to just work on having some sort of lighter colors in their set, because there's a certain point where you can't really blend off into like a light color, and that's frustrating for me. If they came up with a set of really light colors that they had on sale separately, that could work, like you could buy that set and this set, I think it would be phenomenal. It'd be like, this is the perfect set for beginners, but because of the lack of lighter colors, it's a nice set, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much you can do with it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't expect this to be your end all, don't get me wrong. It's not like you get 120 marker colors and you're set for life. You know, you, as a marker collector and user, I always am getting new markers, different brands of markers, stuff like that. But I'm just saying, as a complete set, it is lacking in the lighter colors. If you're just looking to get this set and that's it, this isn't going to be your end all. That's all I'm trying to say here. All in all, the markers arrived in great condition. None of them were damaged. None of them were dried out. None of them were bleeding anywhere. They all just arrived perfectly well and well packaged. So, yeah. I really like these markers for a beginner. Someone who's not really sure that they want to pursue alcohol-based markers, but they might want to dabble into it and see if it's something that they're interested in. I think these are a great option. So big thank you to Ohuhu for providing today's markers so that I could try them out and tell you if I like them or not. Once again, all my reviews are 100% honest. I'll tell you what I liked and what I didn't like about them. But yeah, I do in fact really like these markers. And I hope this review maybe helped someone out there who's trying to decide what they want to buy or what they want to do or what they want to try to pursue. I'm gonna get going. I'll talk to you guys soon in another video. Take care of yourselves.